All right, so that's enough of that. Just keep in mind what that sounds like, because guarantee you it's not going to be happening again in the remake. And to that end, if they actually include that in the remake, I tell you this much right now, I will literally buy one person the deluxe edition of this game on Steam. Nowhere else, only on Steam. Sorry, that offer only applies to the PC Master Race. So anyway, this is happening. This is really the biggest news from E3, which is kind of sad, but Resident Evil 2 Remake, Devil May Cry 5, that's about it. I mean, it's kind of sad. Like, 20-year-old franchises are the spotlight of E3 this year. I mean, there's some other cool stuff like Metro Exodus and Last of Us 2, probably Halo Infinity, Gears 5, whatever. No one gives a shit. We want Resident Evil. So, there was a trailer released, which, like, kind of gives you a tiny look at the gameplay, but most of it's cinematics. So, there's also a demo that people have played. So, what I'm going to do is reaction video the demo. Let's do it. Okay, so, I'm sure this is only for the demo. The real game probably isn't going to appear this way with the loading screen. At least I hope not. I mean, if it does, it's not the biggest deal. Who gives a fuck, It's pretty cool. What it probably is, and this ties into everything that I'm going to say later, it's probably a loading screen. What's probably going to happen is you're going to unlock the gate, and when you do, it's going to be like the end of the first chapter, and it's going to shove you into this loading screen. Because, what it says right now just describes the intro video, basically. Yeah. Literally everything that's in this description right now happened in the video. The game, the real game, doesn't actually start until after the cutscene and all that crap. So, let's continue. All right, here you go. So, right away, it looks fucking amazing, right? I mean, it's Unreal. No, it's not Unreal. Sorry, it's a Resident Evil engine. But it looks fucking just stellar. I mean, you can see right away they changed the layout, obviously. That desk shouldn't be there at all. It's actually, in the original game, it's in the back of the lobby. And in the original game, these staircases don't exist either. I don't really know how I feel about that. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world. It obviously changes the dynamic of how the game is played and, how the police department is laid out, because it looks like you can get to the second floor directly from the lobby here. In the original game, of course, you could get to the second floor from the lobby after a little while, because there's a ladder that you shove down from the second floor balcony, like directly behind where the statue is here. Like, it would be right here, but back. So then after a certain point, if you needed to go to the first floor, you didn't have to go through all the bullshit, and you could just climb down the ladder. But right away, the beginning doesn't look awful. I mean, it looks pretty cool. You got 2 green herbs. No, they look green. I can't tell. The video quality is shit, like always on YouTube, so it's kind of hard to see, really. You've got like I don't know what the hell this thing is, like a projector. I want to say it's the typewriter, but maybe it's a desk fan. I don't know. It's paused after all. There's like a trolley thing that they use to move shit around. But regardless, I mean, just from this first shot, it looks spectacular, right? Nothing to complain about yet. So, unfortunately, I must continue. Okay, cool. He's got a VP70 for anyone who's actually played the game. It kind of looks too big, honestly. I don't know. It's like out of proportion. But that's the VP70. It's a Heckler & Koch VP70. It's actually a gun that was out of production like 20 years before this game was even, the original game was even made. I'm not sure what the reason is, but they stopped making it in like the late 70s. It's a select fire pistol made in Germany by Heckler & Koch, obviously. You can do 3-round burst or, obviously double action semi-automatic. In the original game, as in real life, it has a stock attachment, which you will probably get in this game, and it's also in Resident Evil 4. It could even be in Resident Evil 6. I don't think it is. I don't recall it ever being like a unlockable weapon or anything, but it was in Resident Evil 4. And so here's where I have to start actually complaining. You'll probably see it later in the video, but to spoil that, they called the pistol the Matilda in this game. So if you play Resident Evil 4, and I'm sure you have, again, which I'll go into later, the gun in Resident Evil 4 is called the Matilda, and it's not called the VP70. But in Resident Evil 2, it was actually called by its real name, the VP70. And it actually said Heckler & Koch, blah, 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 if you went into the inventory, the menu, and looked at it, if you press the examine option. So they opted to go with the Matilda name. I don't know why. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, obviously. But I'm assuming that they couldn't get the copyrights to use the real name from Heckler & Koch, which begs the question how it happened in the first place. Like, I'm kind of guessing that in the original game they didn't even try. Like, they didn't even ask Heckler & Koch for permission to use, their copyrighted shit. And they probably, like their legal department probably got into some kind of trouble for that. Assuming that Heckler & Koch even ever had any idea. They probably didn't, because like video gaming was nowhere near as popular 20 years ago as it is now. 20 and a half years ago, almost. 20 years and 5 months since the game came out. So, I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm sure it'll be awesome. The pistol, anyway. I'm just going to talk more about the shit. Like, if you check out the graphics. The graphics are actually way better in this version of RE Engine than they were in Resident Evil 7. Like, if you look at his hair, it's nice, and what's that brand of shampoo? L'Oreal of Paris. Like, Leon's got his nice shiny L'Oreal, like, pretty boy hair. Kind of unrealistic for the setting. That's not how his hair would be illuminated, but who cares, right? Textures look pretty damn good. The clothes actually look like kind of realistic. When I say realistic, I mean, like, if you've ever paid attention to The Witcher 3, it actually looks like the character is wearing the clothes that they're wearing, instead of them just being like a plastered on piece of geometry that's like an immovable part of their character. Like, they actually look like they're wearing it. And so does this to an extent. You can see along the edge here, the Kevlar vest is kind of like, a little bit of distance from his back. And you can see the ambient occlusion there along the edge with the shadowing, as if there's space in between, and the vest is casting shadows. Not really a big deal, again. And also, like I said, this video quality is shit. I don't know that this is the graphics. This is being played on the PlayStation 4 dev kit, obviously, which you'll see later with the button prompts, which I will also discuss later. This is going to be a long video. It's a 15-minute video, but this is going to be like 30 minutes, so sorry. But hey, you might get a free copy of the game. Maybe more than one. I don't know. It just depends on finances at the time. I'm obviously not going to pre-order it. Not that you can pre-order giveaway keys. Maybe you can. I don't know. I'll look into it. So it's something I forgot to mention before. Like I said, the desk wasn't here before. It was actually like way back here, near the ladder. In the original game, this fountain and this statue were all directly on ground level. Maybe they are. I don't know. He might actually. I don't know. I have to unpause the video to see. But there was like there was a ramp, like a wheelchair handicap accessible ramp instead of staircases, which doesn't make any sense. Like, why would a public building have staircases and no wheelchair ramp? See, people need to think about this kind of shit when they design games that are supposed to be mildly based in reality. So anyway, moving on. Okay, yeah, that confirms what I was thinking. So when you first walk into the station, there's actually like a tiny little, I don't know what you want to call it, balcony, foyer thing. You turn right, there's the blue door. You turn left, there's nothing. But if you go down the tiny staircase and you turn left, that's the first hallway you go in. It honestly feels like there's no volume here. What's going on? Oh, there's your PlayStation button prompts. Maybe my headphones they turned off due to inactivity. No. 8,000 years using Windows. Why do I always click this incorrectly? No, that's also the wrong thing. Fuck me, I'm retarded. Okay, whatever. So it is on. Alright. So here you get a look at the menu. That's pretty cool. Obviously it's not the same interface as before. It's more modern. It looks just like Resident Evil 7 did, and to a certain extent Resident Evil 6. No complaints about this. I don't need a tutorial for the map though. That's offensive and shouldn't be in the game. And then it's totally unnecessary too, because you see there's a key, a legend at the bottom. Red is something you haven't explored. Blue is a area that you've seen the entirety of. So in the original map, it was similar, but like no color was something you'd already explored. Locked doors were red, like this one. Unlocked doors were green, and then you had, I think there might have been blue doors on the map that meant like you hadn't seen them yet or something. Who cares? Moving on. Oh, wait a minute, actually. I didn't notice that before. Oh, yeah, okay. So like I said, the on the right side here is the blue door, so that one's locked, obviously. That health meter was kind of cool. It was kind of a throwback to the originals. Better than the UI in the newer games, and that's something I think I've heard discussed. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm just going to pause it and talk about that. So obviously since Resident Evil 2, there's been a huge resurgence in horror, survival horror, action horror games. You'll notice in like all the modern games, Dead Space, Dead Space 2, Dead Space 3, Evil Within 2. I can't really think of any other ones. Maybe Daymare if that game ever comes out. There's minimal HUD. There's like no HUD. In Dead Space 3, it's a diegetic HUD, so anything that matters is displayed on Isaac or on John or whatever his stupid name is. Like you got your health meter on your spine, and then you've got the ammo is actually displayed like floating above the gun. So it looks like they took some hints from that, which is cool because it helps immerse you when you don't see all these stupid like meters and all this bullshit around. However, they unfortunately have not really taken that to heart. you'll see that here in a little bit, because there's still shit that pops up on the screen from quests, just stuff that you shouldn't see, period, unless you're looking at the menu. That frame rate kind of sucks too, but
Hello?
you know, it's early.
Is anybody here?
So here we go. No, go back. Matilda, 12-shot capacity, 9mm polymer frame handgun. Blah, 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 blah. Make it impractical for the general public. Yeah, because it wasn't in production anymore, for one thing. So you get your first look at the actual inventory here. This is straight from Resident Evil 7. I'm sure you can expand it. You can expand your inventory in every single Resident Evil game, so there's no reason to think that you can't. This is the exact inventory from Resident Evil 7, minus some menu options and descriptions and shit. So gone are the days of your OG Resident Evil menu. Like, you know, like this. Like that awesome fucking sound is gone. Or this one. Or this one. It's probably gone too. I hope not. But that's... Yeah, that's not the menu. Which is unfortunate. And this one is the best. I mean, you hear that sound so many fucking times playing the games. Oh, it's awesome. Anyway, so you got the Resident Evil inventory, and then the first thing that, well, not the first thing, but one of the things that I find completely ridiculous is this stupid. This is directly from Resident Evil 7, and there's no reason for it to exist. Right now, he doesn't have the knife, but guess what's going to happen? You've never seen it before in a Resident Evil game. And then here's another thing. This right here. This doesn't need to be in the game. There's literally no reason for this to be in the game. And I made a comment on Reddit, which is my first mistake, obviously, saying that these button prompts were archaic game design that should have died 20 years ago. Because this has no business in a video game. I'm not trying to say that Resident Evil or 1 or 2 were like the pinnacle of difficulty in games. But if you look at modern games, well, yeah, kind of modern. Right now, like Dark Souls or whatever, Demons, you know, something like that, where people praise it for not holding your hand and not doing all this stupid modern casual bullshit that people have gotten used to, like these games holding your hand. You don't need these button prompts to tell you what to do, because the activation button for any object in the game is literally always going to be the same button. Always. Every single time. No matter what. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're interacting with an object, it will literally always be the X button. Where's my PlayStation controller? I can't think right now. It's literally always going to be X or A, or whatever button Nintendo Switch has on the controller, assuming it gets a Switch release. I'm sure it will. So why is it on the screen? Like, and that cascades into everything else that I'm going to say about this. Like, you don't need your handheld. All you got to do is just start the game up, and then you're going to learn to play it, and you're going to know what button does what in what situation, just like in the originals. Like, you know, there was never any question that pressing triangle would take you to the inventory, or circle would cancel. I wouldn't say cancel. You know, there's a whole thing with Japanese games where like circle is the cancel button all the time. I don't remember, and I don't care about that right now. So that's like strike. Like, that's major strike one, but that's just an overall thing with the game that ties into like everything that I'm going to bitch about later. frame rate again. So look, if you caught a glimpse of that, they actually changed the puzzle. You see there's three, what do you call them? Three indentations? Reliefs. No, whatever. There's three spots to put a thing. Where before there was only one. You only needed like the eagle medal or something. You just put in the thing, and the statue dropped the key out of her hand. Which, by the way, she's holding a flag now. Before she didn't have a flag. Her hand was just like empty. She might have had a vase, but that might be another one. And why? Why? I have to question why there are canisters of like CO2 or whatever that is. Why are those there? Dude, this video quality is fucking killing me. So this is the second floor. That should be the library right here. We'll see what it actually is. Oh, we can't open it yet. Green herb, cool. So here's a good opportunity. Here's my main problem with this game. Why I honestly am not going to buy it. I'm like 100% sure that I'm not buying this game. We haven't gotten to the combat part yet, but you can see from the video so far, it's an over-the-shoulder third-person action game. There's no question about what's in front of you. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. Like, I'm so upset about this. For anyone who's paid attention over the years, there have been various fan attempts to remake the game, which will obviously only end in a cease and desist order, because it always does. That's you can't remake someone else's intellectual property. It's just how it works, no matter what, even if you're not looking for money. So there were a couple different remakes, and if you follow the news, the Capcom guys invited probably like both of them to hang out at their offices and discuss the remake to get their opinion on what direction to take it in. So those were not the right people to talk to. I understand that they're huge fans, because only a fan would have gone through the work to like literally remake a game on their own in an engine when they know for a fact that it's never going to see the light of day. Like, they're not going to get money from it. It's probably never going to get completed. So I'm not doubting that they're fans. However, I'm going to say that they are not the right fans to talk to. No one who thinks Resident Evil 4 is the best game in the series should have had any input whatsoever in this game. So here's the problem, okay? There was never going to be a Resident Evil 2 remake until, what's-his-face, H, like Yoshiaki, whatever the hell his name is. There was never going to be a remake until this guy paid attention to the internet and saw these fan projects and finally managed to convince the CEOs and stuff at Capcom that it was going to be a good idea. And the only reason that most of that happened, the only reason he saw most of that stuff, is because Capcom made a remake and a remaster of that remake of Resident Evil 1 in the first place. Now, the thing is, Resident Evil 1 is an awesome game, but you're not going to find a single person that isn't insane that's going to rank Resident Evil 1 over Resident Evil 2. Like, Resident Evil 2 is unquestionably a better game than Resident Evil 1, and it's everyone's favorite. At least everyone that played the game before, 2005. So that was the thing. Like, me and I'm sure millions of other people were just, for 20 years, they're saying we want, well, not 20 years. We'll say like 14 years, because I think Remake came out in 2002, maybe 2001, maybe 2000. So probably like 15 years or so. So, you know, all these people like me were on Reddit and elsewhere talking about how awesome it would be to get a remake, just like Resident Evil 1 Remake, with the same gameplay, the same graphics or better, you know, the same soundtrack, the same camera angles. I don't want to say camera angles because the camera angles aren't the part that matters. But for lack of a better reference, yeah, the camera angles. And apparently, like, no one gave a fuck. You know, like, no one gave a damn about what those people thought because Resident Evil 4 sold like 5 more copies than Resident Evil 2, apparently. That's not entirely accurate. I've heard people argue that they make games this way because those are the types that sell. That's not. I mean, that's true, but it's not really true because you can take a look here. Resident Evil 1 has sold 5.3 million, and this is based on like 5-year-old data at least. As of March 31st. That size because Resident Evil 6 and 5 are on this list here. But that's a good fucking... Oh, ho, ho. Okay, so number 1, Monster Hunter World. Number 2, Resident Evil 5. Number 3, Resident Evil 6. That's unfortunate. These numbers look wrong, and this is from Capcom themselves. But here's the thing. First of all, somehow Resident Evil 7 outsold Resident Evil 4, which is, there's no way. But Resident Evil 2 is number 6. You'll notice Resident Evil 4 is not in the top 6. So how the fuck... Resident Evil 3? Resident Evil. That can't be right. That game's terrible. Oh, I see. They're counting different editions here. So PlayStation version sold 2.3. Why does my fucking scroll wheel keep going off? Why don't I see Resident Evil 4 anywhere? This can't be right. Nah, that's not. On GameCube, maybe. What? Okay. So whatever, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the point is, Resident Evil 2 is one of the highest selling games in the franchise. And if we're to believe any of this information, it sold more than Resident Evil 4 did. I don't know why we can't find Resident Evil 4 on these fucking lists. Because I guess because it's split up by platform. 8 million. So it allegedly sold more than Resident Evil 2. Oh, these are... Okay, I got you. But, okay, so anyway. If you're going to make that argument, Resident Evil 4 barely sold more. It sold like maybe 20% more copies. 25%. Maybe 30-ish. Whatever. So that doesn't make any sense. Like, clearly 6 point whatever million people have bought Resident Evil 2. So why would you think no one wants that type of game? You know what I'm saying? It's fucking stupid. Anyway. I'd be okay with it being third person and actually letting you aim correctly if it weren't for the way the game actually plays, which we'll see. Fucking, my sound is fucking up again. I need to stop talking, I guess. I need to talk a little less. So, I mean, you can... I just want to bitch about it. It's the same movement from Resident Evil, like, 5 and 6 and 4. Look how fast he's running. It's just needlessly fast. You still got the puzzles. Okay, cool. can't see anything. Why am I... We'll do this full screen. I'm not sure where he is right now. I think that's the opposite. Yeah, that's near Iron's office. Irons? Irons? Okay, so, I mean, we see in the main hall. It's pretty cool. I don't think there's a third floor anymore. It doesn't appear there's a third floor. It's kind of a faithful remake of the main hall while changing it. There's a fade spray. Same model as so they replaced the singular door with a gate, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So here's cool stuff starts happening now. Pre-rendered. Okay, so now it's going to start turning into Resident Evil 6. I don't know why there's water here. You didn't used to be able to go in that room. You probably still can't, because it's locked. There, Dead Space. Why? It's 2018. All right, that may have worked 10 years ago. For a couple of minutes may have worked, but by the time you got like halfway through Dead Space, you knew that the noises were fake. They were bullshit. And they were just meant to, to grab your attention. Nothing was going to come at you.
You got this.
More Dead Space. We got flickering lights here. You'll notice Leon talks to himself now. Obviously, this is his literal first day as a police officer. He came like straight from the academy. So I mean, so far it's cool, right? Yeah. You didn't used to be able to go in that room. You used to need a key to even get in there. Well, I mean, you obviously you had to go in the room, but what I'm saying is, you couldn't just walk straight in before. This is the press room. This is where the tyrant attacks you in the original game. On Leon B. Okay. I like the model for the bullets box. It's pretty cool. It actually looks realistic. Like, that's exactly what a box of 9mm ammunition would look like. Obviously, depending on brand. Like, I think... What do you call it? Fuck, what is that brand? It doesn't matter. Anyway, I mean, there are real brands that have, like, almost this exact same packaging. And the bullets looks pretty good too. The actual textures. There's an old school printer, 1998. This is the press podium. More bullshit noises. A boarded up door. Is this a closet? What? I don't think... Oh, this is the Resident Evil 6 I was talking about. Having to move shit. And I guarantee you, you come through the hallway again, it'll somehow have fallen over. Restrooms. There's been a lot of commentary that the game finally has restrooms. Did you see that, like, jacked up shadowing where the light glitched and caused shadows from his hair? Oh, that's why it's flooded, because the... Damn, it's a lot of water. Because of the restrooms. There's a coffee machine, water fountain, some sort of hazardous waste disposal.
Jesus.
Chained door. You could probably shoot the lock off that door.
Open up! Hurry!
Here's a guy.
Open up! Open this goddamn door! I'll get you out! Help me! Please!
This...
Help me! Give me your hand.
Give me that lighter.
Give me your other hand.
So, obviously much more brutal than the original game. I mean, that goes without saying. It's, you know, it's the jump from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 4. Like, you know, it's been 20 years. Graphics have advanced, like, tremendously since then.
Jesus Christ.
Not really sure how he got bit in half, because judging by those sounds, they're just zombies. But, you know, it's horror. Why? Like, don't question it. It happens. So, I'm not sure what that is at the moment. I want to say it's the lighter, but you don't actually need the lighter at this point in the game. So that's like Edwards or something is his name. He actually has some relevance to like Outbreak. There was some shit where he had like an encounter, I think, with Kevin Ryman and some of the other characters from Outbreak, but I don't know. It's been a long time. Oh, it's a notebook. Okay. So this is pretty cool. It's in keeping with the original spirit of the game. You get documents and then shit, and they... actually, in the original games, the documents never really helped you solve puzzles. They might give you like some verbal explanation of how a puzzle is solved, but usually like there was an inscription or something on the puzzle that gave you like a vague explanation, like the chess piece fuse box to get into the sewers. I mean, basically, like it was self-explanatory from the description. Same with the pressure plate statues on the floor near the Star's office, and the two red jewels in that stained glass window room. So, I mean, this is cool. At the same time, it's very casual and retarded, because this kind of thing is directly out of Uncharted, where the solutions to the puzzles were literally in a notebook, and you could hold it up in front of your face. Same thing in a game called Deadfall Adventures. If you ever played it, it's the exact same, except in that game you can literally hold the notebook in front of your face in game, you know, like while a enemy is trying to attack you. I'm still really not even sure what this room is, because this was never in the original game. So there you go. There's your combat. You just shot a zombie directly in the head. There's a bullet hole in its fucking brain, and it's still walking and coming at you. That right there is the reason I have no intention of buying this game until I see a convincing reason otherwise. This, I mean... Assuming the rest of the gameplay is still intact, I can forgive this. But this is way too much like Resident Evil 6. It's unacceptable. If you shoot a zombie in the head, they should be dying. Like, he shouldn't be still walking right now. He should be falling over dead. A zombie, not the other enemies, just the zombies. It's 2 shots in the head. 3 shots in the head to kill it, and that one was in the chin. So that didn't even make sense. Oh! It's like the dogs, but not. There's another one coming down the hallway. I can hear it. Or somewhere. Yeah, no. Those are just chairs. I mean, this is kind of cool. It's like it's kind of scary. Except you know it's going to happen now from the demo. This guy's terrible at the game. It always boggles my mind how they choose, like, terrible gamers to do these demos. There's a pause inventory. So if you notice, the game pauses while you look at the inventory and the map. Something that didn't happen in Resident Evil 7. So that's cool. That's still intact from the original game. The zombies look so fucking good too. Like, just look, it's fucking. I mean, like that zombie right there looks like the ones from the illustrations in Resident Evil 1. Like first zombie that you see, it looks fucking great. I'll say that much for sure. Who is this? Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the guy that got eaten in half is not the guy I thought he was. This might be Branagh though. Yeah, that's Marvin.
Thanks.
So the new voice actor is like decent. I mean, I'm cool with it, but it's just funny if you compare it to the original voice acting, which is, you know, one of the major things in Resident Evil is the voice acting was always like bad, or so bad that it was good. Just listen.
Oh, man.
That walking sound.
Who are you? Oh, you must be the new guy. Leon.
It's funny to laugh at it now, like, compared to this.
Marvin Brown. Leon Kennedy. There was another officer I could...
Oh, also, while we're on that subject, he sounds like a little bitch. I mean, obviously he sounds like a little bitch, and he looks like an androgynous little, like, Final Fantasy guy. But that's one of the things. It was revealed like over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, that the original voice actors weren't coming back. So Allison Court is not voicing Claire. Paul Haddad is not voicing Leon, nor is Paul Mercier or Matt Mercer. So once again, they're going to continue the trend of a fucking different voice actor every single time, which is bullshit because I think Matt Mercer is the current one. The same two guys have voiced Leon since Resident Evil 4. So that's Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil Degeneration, Resident Evil Damnation, Resident Evil Vendetta. So that's 5, appearances where he's had the same voice actors or voice actor, and then again they got to change it. Why? So I'm pretty sure there's no way it could be in this demo, but that means that Sally Cahill isn't coming back to voice Ada. I don't know who voices her now. I'm okay with her RE6 voice actor, but it's just I don't understand why. I think at the time when they were doing a lot of this game, there was a voice actors guild strike in Hollywood. Yeah, 2016 to 2017. So, they probably didn't want to wait to see if it was going to be resolved or not. So they hired new voice actors, which is fucking bullshit. Like, why? Just animate the characters and then drop in the voices at the last second like you always do for CG movies. I don't understand why they even had to find new actors. It's stupid.
Yeah. I'm sure you did what you could, Leon.
So, I mean, it's unnecessary praise. Like, what I'm saying is, I'm saying things that shouldn't be said because they're obvious. Like, Leon is more realistic and believable now as a rookie cop. And then you got Marvin here, even though he's like wounded, dying, he's being comforting and, he's being cool with him versus, the original game, which is archaic, obviously. But like, I just feel like every game these days, it's getting praise for things that should be expected. I'm not saying it's getting praise because I don't know. All I've seen is like pretty much overwhelming positivity about this remake, and someone needs to put a stop to that because it fundamentally changes the way the game was played, at least as far as I can tell. There's a section somewhere in one of these videos where Leon is running like fast as fuck. It's ridiculous, which like totally removes all the dread in sections like when you fight the tyrant or the lickers, because you can run so damn fast that you can go down these tiny RPD hallways in like 3 seconds. So whatever. Anyway.
Does anyone know what started this?
Not a clue. But honestly, all you need to know is that this place will eat you alive if you aren't careful.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away. I wish I'd come here sooner.
I really can't stand his voice actor.
That's all that matters.
Okay, Lieutenant, I'm ready.
Hopefully you'll be able to find a way out of this station. That officer you met earlier, Elliot,
Oh, that was Elliot.
he thought this secret passageway might do the trick.
And none of his blood. I guess a little bit did.
We can get you to a hospital.
No,
Nope.
no, I am not the priority here.
Lieutenant, I'm not just gonna leave you here.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first. I'd come with you, but I just slow you down. Now, you'll need this.
Can't take it.
Stop
The knife? Hell yeah.
and don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things,
It's too bad that's pre-rendered because that looks gorgeous.
you do not hesitate. You take it out, or you run. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Why does I don't understand, why does Marvin Branagh look 6,000 times better than Leon? Like, it's fucking, he looks so much better, it's ridiculous. Why? God, he looks like shit. Just like shit. Combat knife. Okay, so now we're getting it on here. Oh yeah, so if you notice from they put the objective on the screen, but the entire direction of the game has changed at this point. This is the beginning of the game. Like, from the get-go, it is completely different what you're supposed to do. In the first game, or in the original game, you met Marvin and he gave you an ID card so you could get into the hallway. And then you just, you explored the police station looking for a way out, kind of. But you didn't go to the sewers or anything until like halfway through the game. The RPD was probably the first half of the game. So that was way too easy. That wasn't convoluted at all, which is not how Resident Evil puzzles should be. They should be as convoluted as possible most of the time.
So Elliot was right.
There's a secret door.
Yeah, but the passage isn't open yet.
You gotta cut the tape on the box like Resident Evil 7. So this is where you
I imagine my first day.
typically would see the liquor here in a moment. But you're not going to. Another box. There's so many fucking items. And so that's what I'm complaining about. Resident Evil used to be a Metroid game, you know, a Castleroid. And Resident Evil 4 turned it into an action game. And so now they're going to do that to Resident Evil 2 as well. And it's needless. They don't need to do this. They shouldn't do this. And his inventory is full. Don't do it. Got some mixed herbs going there. So all that's still, you know, that's always been in Resident Evil, mixing herbs. That's kind of cool, I guess. Like you can choose windows to board up. The same thing happened in the original game, but I have a feeling in this game you're going to have to do it, like, often. No! Don't pop this shit up in my video. Oh, there's more. I didn't actually know there was more. That's a good idea. Liquors. Ha! That's gorgeously gory. Gorgeous. This guy playing is blatantly ignoring items, and it's just kind of getting on my nerves. There's you see the claw marks from the liquor, and that window that you can board up. This looks gorgeous as well. A zombie. Don't just stab him. Stab her. I don't like the person playing this demo. They make me angry. So this is like the briefing room. Yep. There you go. Cold drinks. So the layout is still mostly intact here. If you're listening, I'm pretty sure that zombie actually just broke into the room. Which isn't cool. I mean, it's kind of cool because that's the same way that Crimson had zombies worked. They could go through doors. I don't remember this hallway. Oh, this is where the dark room. Yeah. Why did you... I don't think he even took damage. Oh, that's why. He just wasted a double green herb. Yeah, so here's the dark room. This is where you used to get the custom costumes. Now, you got to pay for those. They're DLC. That's pretty cool. So they put in the ammo creating mechanic from Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 7. That's a good addition. I like that. On that note, like, my ideal RE2 remake was always going to include Resident Evil 3 as a, as like a simultaneous event that happened at the same time, and then you could unlock a scenario to play as Jill, or like to play the RE3 campaigns, which it probably won't happen. This should be a safe room. So there's no safe room music. That's cool. They still have the film. Some of it. Red herb. Take the film. Oh, there's the safe room music. He ran by too fast to see. I'm guessing there wasn't a subspace item box there. Kind of hoping there was, but I don't know. I never knew this second 15 minutes existed. I'd only ever seen the first half. I'm kind of hating it less after watching this second part, but I'm still very unhappy. Second floor restrooms. Yeah, I always felt that hallway was kind of pointless up here. Because zombie in the locker. No, what? You're bad. You're just awful. Stop it. Again, ignoring items. So I'm not sure. I guess they changed the location of the STARS office. That's... Hopefully the clarity is better in the game, because you can't even see what just happened there. So there is a third floor. And it's really easy to get to. And this apparently already happened. This should be where, like, Chief Irons' office is. There's the spade key. And a statue of some sort. Statuette. I gotta sneeze. That was a liquor.
What in the...
They still got that iconic clicking sound when they move. That's pretty cool. Stop ignoring items. So they're putting in mechanics from Resident Evil 5. If you don't make noise around the lickers, then they're less likely to sense you. Oh, he wasn't ignoring items, he was ignoring doors. What in the fuck? The fuck is this room? Yeah, they like significantly have changed things. I want to say that's the room where you get the that key from the 2 jewels. So they included the knife defense mechanic from Resident Evil 1. Except it looks like now you can take the knife back, which is pretty sweet. Before, they were just disposable knives. Like, you shoved them in a zombie's head and then it was gone. So this is pretty cool. I really don't like these zombie sounds. They sound too generically like Walking Dead zombies. Instead of you know, the iconic zombie moan from the originals. Why is he still alive? Why are you shooting him in the... Should probably use your herb. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit less reluctant about getting this game now. It doesn't seem to be throwing 1,000 zombies at once at you. At least not yet. It will in this room, I bet you. Oh, not this one. This is not this, on the other side where that rolling door was. So there's a tutorial about making ammunition. This is where you originally meet Marvin. And there's a save still. Cool. I forget the combo. It was something like 3, 5, 4 or something like that. There were only like 2 different combinations it could possibly be. So if it wasn't one, it was the other one. You could just look it up. But that was before the days of the internet really existing. I don't know. I'm kind of changing my opinion here. They got the Welcome Leon sign. I noticed there's no laser sight. Which I guess is cool. I wonder if there's an option to turn it on, though. I don't want it. But that'd be cool for people that do, I guess. Their mission is to unlock your dust. So I bet you got to look at the desks around you to find out their names. That's cool, I guess. Also, another easy puzzle. Spade key door. You got to manually use the key. That 1998 laptop.
Come here. Take a look.
So that's funny. Like they have a somewhat era appropriate laptop that looks old school, yet at the same time it somehow is magically connecting by Wi-Fi, and not only that, but playing like 60 FPS video. Oh well, you can't be perfect, right?
Yes. I knew she'd make it.
That's Claire, and she looks terrible.
You know her?
Yeah. Name's Claire. I came into town with her.
You can get to that courtyard. Through the second floor.
That's the Crow hallway.
Side.
I'm on it. Thanks, Lieutenant.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I started the video. I was just gonna talk about how they've ruined everything, but I don't know. It seems like it could be good. There are obviously major changes. It doesn't appear that there even are item boxes anymore, but then again, if judging by the Resident Evil 7 inventory, I'm thinking there probably will be. So anyway, who knows? It comes out in about 7 months, so we'll see. But like I said, the ridiculous fucking bass guitar song will not be in the game. I guarantee you that much. Nor will those inventory sounds or anything. Whatever. Until next time. See you.